I'm taking Hugh from New Zealand. Atheists need to go the extra step and deny the supernatural because it's imaginary. Hugh, you're on the line with Kenneth, Leonard, Johnny P. That's me. And why do we need to go the extra step?
Leonard. Because sitting on the fence doesn't really get us anywhere. You see, when you say, I don't believe, when someone says, here's this God, you say, what? I don't believe. What is it that you're not believing in?
That it's real.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's real.
Yeah, but what don't you believe is real?
What do I believe is real?
I mean, when we talk about God, what's the definition? What's the definition? I mean, God is just a word. So what?
I mean, it varies. It varies. Yeah. People have all different God concepts and God claims. So, I mean, it ultimately boils down to people haven't met their burden of proof. That's it.
They're the one walking around trying to dictate their particular pet rules, not me. Well, I mean, I guess I am too.
Yeah.
But it's all on stuff that we can agree about.
Sorry?
Like people exist. And we have debates over some. Hugh, hold your horses, okay? I know you want to talk, and we're talking a lot, but I don't feel the need to go and disprove the existence of, Thor or wherever the fuck gods they choose to exist these days. But they come to me with claims on this show, and I say, well, I don't believe it. Prove that I should believe it. And they always have grimoires and look at the trees and nonsense like that as their evidence, personal experiences, materializing Mountain Dews. And I can say, I don't believe that it exists. If there's better evidence, I want to hear it.
Yeah.
And sometimes saying, give me the better evidence is the thing that is needed for those people to examine their beliefs and realize that it's just a bunch of hocus pocus and wishful thinking.
Yeah. And I'll tell you in my experience, what happens in these conversations with people. I'm gonna tell you what happens. So if I approach somebody, and I've had people call in and tell me all kinds of wacky off the wall shit, man. If I go, that's bullshit. That's okay. I'll back off of that. If I say that's imaginary, I often get people saying, oh, well, this guy's not even considering the possibility. Yeah. This guy is just another closed-minded, angry atheist. So this is why I think that, if what I'm trying to do is actually get people to think, then approaching things of going like, what can you prove? What can you demonstrate to be true? Does truth matter? What are we talking about here? I'll use the word bullshit. I'll tell somebody that their claims are bullshit because I'm using a specific definition of bullshit as claims that are made, without regard to the truth, right? So if someone's just throwing claims out there and they've got no evidence behind it, I'd be like, this is just bullshit. You're just making claims that you can't back up. So don't do that. But right. So if I tell somebody your God is imaginary, then they're going to go, okay, prove it.
Yeah. How do you prove it negative?
Well, can you show me an imaginary thing?
No.
Has anyone ever demonstrated anything supernatural?
Well, not that I'm aware of. But here's an example. I could conceptualize. I could imagine like a insect that right now is undiscovered. Like we don't have any proof that this insect is real, and then someone could discover it in the future. Okay,
black swan fallacy.
That kind of thing is where I'm trying to get at. And the insect, it's an imperfect analogy, but do
insects exist?
Yes, insects exist.
Do insects exist? Yes.
Yes.
So imagining something that already exists, right? You're imagining a version of something that exists, that exists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If someone who'd never seen an insect before, they wouldn't even know what it was, would they? So they couldn't imagine it.
I understand what you're saying. The thing is...
And even if you did imagine an insect, that someone discovered later, I will guarantee you that you don't know everything about that insect. I mean, do you know its anatomy? Would you have imagined its eyes, the way its eyes work, or how many? I suppose if you can imagine it has 6 legs, that would be pretty easy.
Yeah, I'm saying I would be imagining something very specific. But here's the thing.
I'm talking about the supernatural. The supernatural is imaginary. It's imaginary by definition.
I don't think that's exactly true.
You're towing a line where
can the supernatural can the supernatural be demonstrated, or can it only be imagined?
I tell you what, Hugh, I'm going to go ahead and do my mandatory mute.
I already, yeah. So the deal is this: does all of the available evidence indicate that the supernatural is not a legit thing? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We don't have any evidence that the supernatural is a real thing. But if we're being intellectually honest, we have to leave that little crack in the door where we go, there could be something out there. I don't know how the fuck anybody could go about proving it or demonstrating it, but I cannot demonstrate that like a God is impossible or that the supernatural is impossible. Okay. Because I'm operating here in reality where all I have access to is like the material world. Right. So I'm forced to go, I don't know what the fuck else could be out there. I don't believe there's anything else out there because I don't have any reason to. But if I was to make an affirmative claim that the supernatural is imaginary, I would now be making a claim that I could not prove.
It's imaginary by definition.
No, I don't think it's imaginary by definition. I think you're overstating the case.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So the supernatural is a real thing then? I mean, it's defined as
that's a false bifurcation, I believe. No, Hugh, did you recently become an atheist or something?
Supernatural is imaginary. Yeah. What's that?
Did you recently become an atheist? Because you seem kind of
prove it. Prove that the supernatural is imaginary.
Yeah, forget my question. Prove that the supernatural is imaginary.
Supernatural, and I'll prove it doesn't exist. Yeah, give me an example of something that is claimed to be supernatural, and I'll do.
I'm telling you, prove that the supernatural, broadly speaking,
can you show me it?
Is imaginary?
No. You're trying to shift the burden. You're shifting the burden onto the person, and you're shifting it back.
Yeah,
right.
Demonstrate your claim is true.
Show me something supernatural.
No. You
demonstrate your claim is true.
You do it.
Can you? Okay.
No questions. We want evidence. Go ahead. Give us evidence that the supernatural is not real. Go ahead. Give it. Don't ask me questions.
Okay.
Give us evidence.
Do I have to imagine the supernatural? Do I have to imagine it?
Why is there a question in your answer? I want an answer, a declaratory statement of facts and evidence establishing it. Don't give me hypotheticals. Don't give me more questions.
Oh,
I think you're falling prey to the reason why we don't make the assertion.
Harry Potter could be real. You're saying Harry Potter could be real.
Nobody said Harry Potter could be real.
No.
You're making a claim. The supernatural is imaginary.
You don't know.
Go ahead and prove. Go ahead and.
You don't know that it's not.
Go ahead and prove that the supernatural is imaginary. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It can only be imagined.
So this assertion puts you exactly on equal footing with those who say that they, believe in God on faith. It's the same thing. You can't prove it. You've adopted a burden of proof that you cannot possibly meet because we don't have access to the supernatural.
I'm saying that the supernatural is only imaginary.
Okay, prove it.
It cannot be demonstrated.
Prove it. Prove that it's only imaginary.
Change my mind.
Hugh, prove that it's only imaginary. Prove it.
Prove that it's not. Prove that it's not.
You're shifting the burden back.
You sound like so many theists that I've talked to.
Yeah,
exactly. Okay. Yeah. Of course, because the thing is, like with atheism, if you just say, I don't believe you, do vaccinations work? I don't believe you. The world is a globe? I don't believe you.
We can test those things.
Mm-hmm. I don't believe you doesn't get us anywhere. There's no progress. There is no supernatural God.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because we can test those things.
We have reality.
We can test those things. The reason I don't know gets us somewhere is because we can test those claims. Yeah. If we're making claims about the nature of reality, we can go ahead and test those things. Okay, we can test to see if vaccines work.
Yeah.
We can test if the Earth is round.
Exactly.
How do you test for and prove that the supernatural is imaginary?
We can say we have no reason to believe it.
Prove those things because they exist in reality.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah.
I don't
think we can test that the world is round.
I don't think Hugh gets it. I don't think Hugh gets it. No. Hugh, why don't you sit on that, let that stew for a little bit, and then call back again. I mean, I get the enthusiasm and I understand the frustration. I really do.
It would be, extraordinary. It'd be revolutionary if you could demonstrate that the supernatural is imaginary. That would be it. It'd be game over for theism forever if you could do that. So, work on it.